Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Jake Rowell. I'm up here in the Speed Racing Network booth with my broadcast partner tonight, Brandon Domain. We're out here at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Queen City 150. First off, though, Brandon, man, how you doing today?
Uh, it's always nice day after the race in the truck series. A little bit less stressful being up in the booth, so doing pretty well tonight. Hope you're doing well also. So we get miles around Charlotte. Nice long distance here for these Xfinity guys tonight as we get through that middle leg of stage 2 of the playoffs.
Yeah, it's going to be a absolute dogfight all night long, kind of like what we saw last night in the truck series for Speed Racing Network. It came down to a final lap pass coming out of turn 4, for that checkered flag. So, hopefully we see the same type of drama. It just creates obviously an awesome atmosphere here out on the track. And I just think tonight these boys, knowing next week is the final cut before the final 5 for the playoff championship run. I think there's a lot at stake here.
Absolutely. I mean, you could 100% feel the intensity ramp up last night in the truck series. I know it's going to be the same here, where even the points race is even tighter than it is in the truck series entering Charlotte. So it's going to be an intense mood. I think there's going to be a lot of emotion, a lot of drivers that are be on edge. Always makes things a little bit more interesting. And I know last night I thought might have been a little bit too much drama around my truck, but I'm all for it now that I'm watching instead of driving. So let's see the drama unfold.
Oh yeah, and hey, it's what we do out here each and every week. Obviously, in the Xfinity Series, we have 20 weeks for the entire season. Every single car you see on the screen is going to be having a fixed setup. So that means at the end of the day, man, it is just all about the difference of the driver between car to car. We have a $10 entry fee every single week, which obviously leads us into some weekly and season payouts like you see right there, Brandon.
Absolutely huge for the Xfinity series, and this is our middle tier of competition with the Cup Series going Monday night this week, I believe it is. But at $500 for the first place payout at the end of the season, $200 for the team champions. Both of those still very much up in the air. And then if you make the championship 5, you also get a season-long payout as an individual driver.
Yeah, and you see here, obviously, our weekly payouts for tonight's Queen City 150. It's going to be $40 to first place, $20 to second. Third and fourth are going to be able to make their money back, getting $10 each. So, that's obviously something we've seen all season long. And, every week so far of the 20-week season, guys are able to put $10 in and, come home with their money back, as well as, if you finish far enough up front, Brandon, you're able to make some real money each and every week here.
Oh, of course, and it's always nice to at least get your money back with a good performance. So it kind of doubles down that effect. You drive well, get a good showing in the points and in the race, and then on top of that, you get your money back, or maybe make a little bit of side money extra, and always helps. It makes the mood a lot better than it even was. Good showing.
Definitely, and that's going to lead us here into our season-long payouts. That's going to be brought to you by Gerwitz CPA firm. They've obviously been a huge part of our success here at Speed Racing Network, so we can't thank them enough. And again, here we go, first place for the Drivers' Championship. You're going to be able to walk away with $500. You've put $200 into this thing. If you paid $10 each week, able to come home with $500. That's huge. Second place, you still get $300. Third place, $200. Fourth, $150, and fifth place, $100. I mean, that's half of your season-long payouts. So, that's quite a bit of money, especially when you start to think about the fact that our playoff drivers are, naturally probably going to be guys week in and week out that are, most likely going to be towards the front of the field. So they're able to kind of, dip their hand into those weekly payouts, as well as walk away with either first through fifth in the season payouts. I mean, they've definitely, had a quite the return here at Speed Racing Network, on top of the $200 that you could win with your team.
Yeah, and on top of that, there's not many leagues that do as much with payouts, both weekly and season long, and with a team format as SRN, which really makes it a standout league on iRacing. And another factor in that is some of the awards that and the prizes that come out of SRN, including the Butt Kicker Clean Driver Award. The winner of the Clean Driver Award this season does get a free butt kicker, nice little device that goes and attaches to your seat, kind of gives you a little bit extra feeling for what the car is doing. It kind of adds to the simulation factor with the race. But if you don't happen to win one, you can always use discount code SRNVS20 for 20% off on your order.
Yeah, always heard great things about Butt Kicker. You know, those, like you said, Brandon, they just kind of add a little bit extra to your sim rig. So make sure you check them out. But another thing you can check out right on our own website, that's going to be speedracingnetwork.com. It's going to be able to get yourself signed up for a Kane Cook coaching session. Kane's one of the top drivers in oval, NASCAR racing on the entire platform of iRacing. You know, he raced last night in the Coca-Cola Series. So, Kane knows exactly what he's doing. So who else better to, go into a practice with, essentially, it's like one-on-one for any other sport, right? You're in there getting tips and tricks and just, able to really just kind of pick at this guy's brain who just has a massive amount of knowledge of what he's doing here on iRacing. You see there on your screen, he's known for being a hard charger, which is given out at the end of every single official iRacing race. The hard charger award is given to the guy that has, gained the most positions throughout the entire race from their starting spot to where they finish. So, Kane Cook is obviously, someone that knows so much more than, the vast majority of the guys that are on iRacing. So make sure you go to our website, speedracingnetwork.com. You can coach or you can plan out a one-on-one or a duo session, or even if you got a team or a bigger group that you want to, be able to get in there with Kane. So check it out. Always have heard really, really good things about them.
Yeah, I can't say enough about the things that I've seen from people that have booked a session with them. It always seems to come out a lot better in that process. And speaking of coming out a lot better, the team standings, we're down to 2 teams that are still eligible to win the championship mathematically. It's Bronco Motorsports leading the way by nearly 200 points over Tank Racing. And these 2 teams have really been out in front, along with RSR, who just now became mathematically ineligible after last week. But they've really been, those 3 teams especially, have been out in front all season long. Bronco had a great head start. You see them with their 5 wins, and they lead the Tropical Smoothie Team Championship standings, brought to you by Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
Yeah, that Bronco Motorsports is putting in the time and effort to be able to be up there in the front of those standings. But Tank Racing, it's a long shot, but you just never know until the math says otherwise. So if you're Tank Racing right now, you're trying to come in here and have your 4 guys that will have their points count for them, try to be as high up in the finishing positions as possible. That way, that little bit of hope, you just never know until that final lap at Texas. So, it'd be awesome to see. But, guys that are not in the playoffs, that missed the first 15 drivers, we've got the Flavor Bomb second tier playoffs here. Obviously, these are the standings with Nicholas Goen leading this thing from Bronco Motorsports. Daniel Keith Jr. from Team SRN is tied with Nick, even though Nick won last week at Circuit of the Americas. So this is just awesome too. It's another thing you don't see really much in any other, or not too many other iRacing leagues, Brandon. So it's just a cool way to keep guys engaged, as well as just being able to have 2 sets of playoffs racing on the same track at the same time. I think just adds that much more to our races.
Yeah, and it definitely adds to the competition level as well. It does give drivers more incentive to continue to show up every week. Obviously, with real life racing series, you have sponsors, you have all that stuff. But here with virtual racing, sim racing, you don't have that so much. So to have the extra incentive and also just bring that competition level up, there's something for everybody in the field to continue to be racing for. I think all around, it's just a great idea.
Oh, definitely. And, these are the first set of playoffs. Obviously, the top 15. It's now down to 10 after the first round. So here we go. I mean, these are the 10 that we need to be on the lookout for tonight, It's going to be Rhett Tucker leading this thing off for Bronco Motorsports. You know, he's only 6 points ahead of the cut with another 3 points to Mike Lipicki, who's on the outside looking in. And, you know, you got Gregory Joyner, who we see is now an independent driver moving forward through this season right there on the cut, only 3 points ahead of it. So there's some names on both sides of this list that, you know, we very well could see, you know, either up in the top 5 or down, you know, below if, you know, they don't have a good run here tonight and at Charlotte as well as next week at Michigan International Speedway.
Yeah, and as tight as this is, you're looking at 9 points from Rhett Tucker down to Michael Pickey in 6th. So nobody's safe here, and that definitely adds that element of just a little bit of stress, or a little more stress than you would really think of, just because one mistake and all of a sudden you could see yourself going, if you are Rhett Tucker, not to put any kind of hex on him, but just a good example, one mistake, all of a sudden you're going from the points lead, which you've held for pretty much the entire playoffs, maybe all the way back down towards 9th or 10th in the point standings here with one race to go, just because of how close this is.
Oh, definitely. And you know, with iRacing too, it might not even be something that happens on the track. You know, you could have internet problems in the middle of a race. We saw that last season in one of our playoff races, and you just never know. So that's why you can never give up on these things, because it's never over till it's over. So we'll see, though. You know, I think it's going to be a great show here tonight, as well as the cutoff race next week for who makes it into the Final 5 at Texas.
Yeah, and that Final 5, where, you know, the top 5 be going for that championship. The man that's led the championship race much of the way through this playoff season is Rhett Tucker. And Rhett would have had his 5th win of the season last week, except Nick Gowen was in a whole different class. But if you're talking about a different class all season wrong, it is Rhett. He averages a 9th place starting position, 6th place finishing position. Not only that, but he does have a ton of momentum. 3 wins, 3 seconds, and a 4th in the last 7 races. Good luck passing him on the track and also in the standings.
Definitely, Rhett, you know, deserves to be up there. He's been strong all season long, but another guy that's kind of you know, turned the corner ever since these playoffs have started, that's going to be Daniel Bowdler. So much like last night when we talked about Byron McDonald, you know, Daniel has a pattern going on as well as on these 1.5 mile tracks where he'll have a really bad race. Next thing you know, next week at a 1.5 mile, he'll then have a good race, and then a bad race again after that, and then another good race. So it's kind of, you know, an up down trend with him. But, you know, if you're a Daniel Bowdler fan, we got great news, because the last time we were at a 1.5 mile track, which was Kansas Speedway, Daniel Bowdler came home and finished 25th. So if the trends continue for Daniel Bowdler, I mean, that means he's going to have a really strong run here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. So we will see. And, you know, the last time Speed Racing Network was at Charlotte, Daniel was able to come home 10th, even with the 4th most incident points. So, you know, as long as he keeps his car clean, stays out of trouble, he definitely has the speed to be up front tonight.
Without question, also got a lot of momentum after the past couple weeks. In 3rd in the point standings is Jovi Soggyped in a simple math equation. To win races, you have to lead laps. Nobody has led more laps in the Xfinity Series this season than Jovi. In fact, any other driver could lead every lap tonight, and they would still be behind Jovi in laps led this season, and that is why he's tied for the most top 5s in the league, or at least a big reason why. And with 5 straight top 5s coming into tonight, it's a very safe bet that Jovi will lead some laps tonight as well.
Definitely. And you know, our 4th place driver, that's going to be Devin Zimmerman. He's going to be obviously in that 33 car as we've always seen him. He's going to be driving for his team, Tank Racing. You know, we've started to just call Devin Zimmerman the silent killer before, and he's earned that nickname by just staying in the race until the very end, where inevitably he's going to have that good finish that Devin is looking for. So you're not going to see him, you know, lead a ton of laps. You know, he's only got 8 laps led this season, but you know, it's never impossible to see him in the top 5. You know, I think he's you know, looking for that first top 5 since a very long time. I think it's been since August of 2020, if my statistician is correct here. So, you know, with the cut line being right here, I think we're going to we very well could see Devin Zimmerman kind of just have one of those quiet, but really good, really clean races where he gets a top 10, maybe a top 5, while other drivers, you know, Brandon, are struggling with the track, the tires, getting involved in incidences. So I think we could see Devin, kind of solidify his spot in the final 5 for this season.
100% has a chance, and somebody else that's had a great chance to advance to the final 5 is Greg Joyner, and he leads the league with 14 top 10 finishes out of the 17 races run. But what really sets Greg apart is his consistency. You can usually count on him to move up 3 or 4 spots throughout a race, does it slowly, methodically, cleanly. Look for that same trend to continue tonight. It's a pretty good bet that he'll get his 15th top 10 of the season, but he has to hope that the drivers in front of him are not the drivers below the cut line currently, as there's still that close race, and he is the man entering this race on the bubble.
Absolutely, you got that right. I can't imagine him not being in the top 5 with that many top 10s, but another guy here, it's going to be our first driver on the outside looking in. That's going to be that 46 car of Mike Lipicki. Mike's only 3 points below that cut line, so he can have a really, really good point stay here, but out of the 7.5-mile tracks that we've raced on so far this season, he's been able to bring home top 10s in 5 of those 7 races. So he's got a really, really good chance here, again, to kind of repeat that here tonight with another top 10. And just like his teammate Devin Zimmerman, he's not going to turn heads by leading a ton of laps, dominating a race by any means, but he is always up front, especially towards the end of these races. That's kind of just what tank racing is known for. So the fun part is if he and Zimmerman can get linked up, coming through this field, it's going to be hard to stop these two guys tonight.
Yeah, I would never count Lipicki out in a race, and we've talked about the momentum in a good way that some of the drivers have had into this second round of the playoffs, and somebody that had a rough week last week at COTA was Dylan Patterson. He's going to be sitting 7th in the point standings entering tonight. In Austin, he started 8th, finished 12th, and it was a rough outing with a lot of incidents there. So good on him for continuing to push through it to get that 12th. It still holds him somewhat close to the cut line. But have no fear after that one, Patterson fans. We're back at the tracks where Dylan shines. He's had 5 top 10s and 6 races on these mid-length 1.5-mile type tracks. He'll need another one tonight to stay in the playoff picture and have a shot of advancing to the final 5 when we go to Michigan next week.
Definitely, and I think this next driver is going to surprise a lot of people when they see this. It's going to be Zachary Taylor in that 14 car for tanked racing. You see he's got 3 wins. He's now sitting 8th, looking on the outside, looking in, so it's very, very surprising to see this. Now remember, folks, though, to start off this season, we went to 1.5-mile tracks, and who won them? None other than this 14 car is Zachary Taylor. Then he follows that up with a couple of third-place finishes at this type of track as well. So he is far from out of being out of the playoffs. So I think if Zach, as long as he doesn't get himself, thinking too much, trying too hard, putting his car in awkward situations to where he can, get involved into an accident and just get enough damage to hurt his car. As long as Zach stays out of that, he definitely has the speed, the pace every single week to be up front. I got to imagine he's going to be able to claw his way back into that top 5. Like I guarantee you most of the league would have thought Zachary Taylor would not be sitting here in 8th place right now, Brandon.
Playoffs always tough to have that kind of a slow start in a playoff leg. Somebody else that did have that is Bo Tiffany. If you take away that race at COTA, though, Bo has had a very respectable postseason, averaging a 10th place finish. But with being 7 points below the cut line right now, he might need a lot more than a top 10 finish, or not a lot more than a 10th place finish here this week. The key for Bo tonight is going to be keeping that car clean. When he has fewer than 10 incident points, he's finished in the top 10 all but twice. But when he goes over 10 incident points, his average finish drops substantially. That is the key for him tonight.
Definitely. And our last driver is going to be the 10th place driver. It's going to be that 09 car of Aaron Gerwitz. Aaron had made it into this round with a 5th place finish at Dover. That put him 4 points above the cut line. But after Circuit of the Americas, he's now 9 points out of the top 5 to be in that championship race at Texas Motor Speedway. So we're going to need to see 2 big races in a row from Aaron Gerwitz to be able to move on to that final 5. But these are the type of tracks, Brandon. Obviously, you race with Rev Racing in the Truck Series. I raced with Rev Racing, including Aaron Gerwitz and some of his teammates that were in Mid-South Madness Season 2. These are their type of tracks. These cookie-cutter 1.5-mile tracks. This is where Rev Racing really makes their money, especially in these Xfinity cars. So you gotta be on lookout for this 09 to be able to take 9 points in the 09. A little fitting with the numbers there. I think Aaron Gerwitz will make the final 5 because of how strong he is on these type of tracks, as well as how much their team puts into these 1.5 mile, longer green flag run tracks.
Yeah, that's something that Rev'd Racing, you get to these 1.5 miles, especially with the long runs, they are just fantastic at conserving and being really fast in the long run. So Aaron, definitely somebody that's got a shot as well as anybody here with Rev tonight. As qualifying is in the books, we're about a minute away from rolling off the grid, and it's actually a pair of non-playoff drivers that are on the front row. It's Nick Gowen, who dominated last week, continuing that hot streak as he will be starting on the pole 0.03 of a second ahead of Dustin Scruggs.
Yeah, in third place, this second row of Zachary Taylor and Joe Visagi had, 2 drivers you probably would have thought would have been on the front row of this thing, but they're going to be starting third and fourth. And you got Gregory Joyner fifth place. Jovi's teammate Ryan Ducombe in sixth place. So that's 3 RSR cars there in the top 6. Rhett Tucker in seventh place from Bronco Motorsports. Then Danny Dow, having a strong start here in 8th place.
Yeah, next up we'll have Daniel Bowdler, number 2 in the playoff standings. He'll be starting in 9th on the inside of row number 5. Josh Marcy, who was eliminated in that first round, will be starting in 10th. Emerson Arden and Joshua Siegfried will be rounding out our top 12 as they make up row number 6. The entire top 12, just 1.5 of a second off the pole time. So this is a very close field. In fact, I'm only looking at 0.3 of a second going all the way from 1st to 20th. So this could be an exciting one tonight with everybody pretty similar on speed.
Yeah, definitely. That's going to make this race that much more, exciting to watch. And, something that's really interesting to see. Obviously, last week we saw this 88 car, Nick Gowen, go out and absolutely dominate from wire to wire at Circuit of the Americas on a road course. Here he is on an oval where, some guys say, oh, he's just a road racer, a ringer type of guy. He doesn't have the speed, but, it's pretty shocking to see in a playoff race. He's up here on the pole just showcasing his talents, in that Xfinity Series car.
Yeah, I mean, he didn't make the playoffs, but you look at the past handful of races, he might be arguably one of the hottest drivers in the league even before last week. Just done a great job since really about midway through the season. Just didn't have enough time to make up the gap from the start to find his way into the playoffs, but definitely a threat as he is tied for the lead on the Tier 2 standings as well.
Definitely. So, Brandon, before we go green flag racing here, I'll give it to you, man. Who are you picking tonight to win this thing?
I'm going to go with somebody that actually got eliminated in round 1, and I'm going to go for that 7 car, and Ryan Ducombe. Fast in practice, didn't quite meet that pace in qualifying, but it's there based on his practice times. I'm going to say that 7 will wind up in victory lane tonight.
Yeah, I'm going to go with that 85 car. I think he's going to get his first win on the season. He's had all kinds of top 10s, but the one thing he's missing is that victory. I think that 85 car is going to bring it into victory lane here tonight. But I tell you what, Nicholas Gowen going to get a great restart on the inside there. He's going to pull away from Scruggs, which is going to allow Zachary Taylor to get to the inside of that 11 car as they head down into turn 1.
This first lap all about just making sure that you do not mess up on these fresh tires. These cold tires really like to get out from underneath you as you make your way through 1 and 2, but especially 3 and 4. Coming out of 4 that first time, the car does want to slide out underneath you just a little bit. So hopefully that they all have that in mind. Don't just go blasting through this turn to close out that first lap. Then the heat starts getting in them, and we'll start seeing the racing pick up full speed.
Definitely, and you see Zachary Taylor moving up to P2, able to make the pass on the 11 car. He's going to set his sights on the 88 and Nicholas Gowen, but right now Nick is hanging tough. We've got a couple drivers, including Rhett Tucker, getting a little loose out on the exit of turn 2. No damage. Looks like Ryan Ducombe as well got loose in front of him. So those 2 guys saved both of their vehicles. No yellow flag, and we are still green flag racing as you see Rhett trying to recover and pick up some more spots that he just lost in the middle of turns 3 and 4.
Fantastic save there by the 81, and that's what we were just talking about with those cold tires. It does take a good lap or so, and you can see just putting that full throttle down into that, maybe getting into it a little bit too early, and it just kicked out from underneath him. But amazing reflexes from Rhett Tucker, but also the cars around him to make sure that they got away from him and gave him that chance to save it and not pile in.
Yeah, definitely. You know, they knew it was early on. There was no need to, you know, crowd anyone, especially trying to save the car. So awesome job by everyone involved there, giving each other space. So they save it. We just saw Danny down that 21 car, get a little bit of the outside wall there, and you know, kind of slow his pace on the outside of Emerson Ardon. So hopefully the 21 doesn't have too much damage and hasn't killed the car. But tell you what, battle for second place right now, Brandon, is heating up. It's Jovi Sagipet trying to make that high side work around the 88 of Nicholas Goins as they head through turns 3 and 4. Going to come off of turn 4. Looks like the 3 car is going to clear that 88 machine.
Yeah, top 3 now inverted from what it was a little bit ago, as it's Taylor in first, Sagipet in second, Goin in third, and Jovi really trying to make that Larson line work, riding up high around here. It's not the easiest line. You can kind of pick up a little bit of time later in a run. Just gives you a little bit more balance there. But to do it early, that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, you know, I'm not surprised to see him. Obviously, I think you know what I mean when I say that, knowing what team he drives for, Brandon. So, you know, it's something we practice all week long. So, not surprised to see him trying to use it this early. So, as he's making a ton of time working, we're going to see here the run. The 3 car is going to get on the 14 down the backstretch from using the top. 14 is going to try to block him, but it's just too much of a run, and that 3 car clearly flying by him as he takes the inside into 3 and 4.
Yeah, and that's a great move from Jovi. I also think it's a great move from Taylor in the 14. There's no point in forcing that block, and in fact, by doing so, giving up that little bit of space, it gave him the opportunity to make that little crossover out of turn 4, and he's going to take the lead right back. See if he can hold on to it on this run coming out of turn 2 yet again. Jovi going to get back side by side and just whip around that outside. You carry a ton of momentum. Taylor in the 14 was trying to side draft him a little bit, trying to pack the air into that left rear. They continue to hold side by side. 3 and 4, a whole lot tougher to go side by side than 1 and 2, and they make it work. And this has been great racing for the past lap for the lead. Yeah,
and all while they're side by side, the 6 car of Daniel Bowdler has now made himself known to be in 3rd place. So Daniel Bowdler trying to run these 2 guys down and try to get up here and enjoy this battle for the lead as they're still side by side down the backstretch. Jovi Sagipet kind of gives up a little bit on entry, but then it's all about that huge run coming off the top, which you see down the straightaways. These guys are going to get really, really tight this time. Off at turn 4, they give each other room, and the 3 car is just going to get the ever slightly better of a run down the straightaways each time here and kind of edge them out at the line. So, you know, it's while they're doing it, the 6 cars is much bigger in the rear view mirror as they head off down into turn 3.
Yeah, I mean, we love it here right now, and I'm hoping everybody watching loves this racing, as it has been fantastic, but nobody loves it more than Bowdler in that 6, because not only is it slowing them up by going side by side, you can't get the run that you want to get, and it just takes a little bit more time, but it is going to wear their tires so much more than if they were just settled in single file and being able to run the line that they want. They don't have to make the turns as tight. They don't have to be as forceful with the tires. So in the long run, if we stay green for a while, this racing, while it's fantastic, could affect both these guys in the long run.
Yeah, as soon as you say that, I think Jovi kind of realizes it. Going to just stay behind Zach right here as they go through 3 and 4 single file. But Dustin Scruggs making a pass for P3 here on the inside of Daniel Bowdler.
About this, we went from racing a week ago where it was about 4 seconds between every car, and right now we got side by side every single time we cut the camera to another turn. This has been great racing in the first 11 laps.
It absolutely has. You know, it's a lot different than last week. Like you said, it was you know, at some points it might have seemed a little spread out, a little you know, a little dry, so to speak. But you know, here we are, Charlotte Motor Speedway. You know, they're racing back here for 16th, 17th, 18th spot. That's that 21 car, Danny Dow on the inside, I believe, of Marshall Stanley. But right behind Dylan Patterson here, battling for spots. So this track with these, you know, different lanes to use for driving right now, it's creating a great atmosphere for driving as you see this 57 car moving up. It looks like he's up to, oh, Daniel Bowdler into the outside wall right there.
So easy to do that, getting out of turn 2 and turn 4 here. And we got a caution on the track.
Oh my goodness, 84 and Marshall Stanley involved. 84 in the 25 car, Brandon. Not too sure what happened, but I just heard him over race chat kind of say, hey, look, my bad. And the other one was like, it's all right, no worries. So obviously what we love to hear, instantly from the two drivers involved.
Yeah, from the sound of that, that makes it sound like it's just going to be a racing incident, but we will find out here on the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec Replay. Our first of the night coming on lap number 12. And it looks like Nathaniel Mann gets into the outside wall and just takes it off that wall where it's kind of got that magnet-like pull. And when he did, he just went straight into the 25 of Marshall Stanley. That is a helpless feeling. He had absolutely nowhere he could go, and we could see it better from here. Yeah, there's nothing that Stanley could do on that one.
Yeah, just absolutely wrong place, wrong time for the 25 car. Nathaniel Mann, like you said, just got into the outside wall, and that's just kind of how it works on iRacing sometimes. It might not look like a huge hit. Next thing you know, you kind of get recoiled off of it. So these two guys will definitely come in, use fast repairs, get new cars. But, with 88 laps to go, there's, or 87 now, these guys got to be careful of, what they're doing with their cars now, that those two guys, will have a fast repair remaining.
It's a scary feeling. I lost one early last night. Thankfully in the trucks we got two. Almost had to use the second one. That was a nice debate, but we got everybody into the pits here. After 14 laps of racing, we'll say 11 or 12 under green. See how they come off the pits, and it's going to continue to be Taylor out in front. It'll be Jovi Sagiped in second and Gregory Joyner in third.
Yeah, Gregory Joyner, gaining a few spots there on pit lane. He started, fifth place, now up to third. As well as Josh Marcy is kind of moving through the field. He started 10th, up to fifth. So there's a ton of speed right here. These guys, might not have had the best qualifying times, but obviously, the longer that run was going, some guys were really coming through the field. So, but hey, let's bring up one of those guys that we're just talking about, kind of moving through the field. That's going to be our 7th place driver right now. It's going to be Joshua Segfried. Joshua, this is Jake Rowell and Brandon Domain up in the SRM booth, buddy. How's it going right now?
Really good.
And so, go ahead, Brandon.
No, I was just going to ask, moving up already through the field, good 5 spots it looks like after that first stint. How did the first 15 laps feel there in the car?
Really good. Just getting used to the track is really hard. Just passing and
Definitely, man. Well, we just got the one to go before this restart, so you got a lot of fans cheering you on as always every single week. So just want to let you know that, kind of give you a little extra boost of confidence. So go up there, grab a few more positions, maybe you get a top 5, and hey, we could be interviewing after this race with a podium finish.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, buddy, we're going to get him down to his team, Brandon, but right now it's going to be all about the 14 car and the 3 car in the front row who we saw paddling it out. So now you throw fresh tires on them. I think this is going to be really, really tough racing, hard racing right here between these two guys right on this restart.
Yeah, that caution was huge for the 14 and the 3 after how hard they were racing in that first run. Just to get those fresh tires, they're not going to have to worry about the effects of going side by side for that good 5 laps in a row. So that was huge for them. It's going to even out things again, and we'll see if anybody else can take advantage of what they learned in that first stint.
Definitely, and you got to imagine Zach Taylor's going to want to try to get away as quick as possible. But, the 3 car is not going to let him do it. And then you got Gregory Joyner right behind him, trying to, come up here, lead some laps, maybe get his first win. Then you got a guy like Dustin Scruggs outside of the playoffs, just trying to spoil the party of all these playoff drivers. But Zachary Taylor in that 14 car is going to get on that loud pedal and go. He's going to try to drive away from that 3 and 85 cars. They're going to be side by side down into turn 1.
Yeah, Taylor with a good 3 car length advantage over Joyner and Sagiped. Jovi in a good spot. We got trouble in the back, and it's Joshua Siegfried.
Oh, no.
Oh, he all saved it. I'm not sure if somebody got more trouble up in front going towards turn 3, and we still might not be done wrecking. It's Devin Zimmerman just went upside down.
Wow, so that's one of our playoff drivers right there involved. Not too sure what happened here, but we'll see a wreck replay, obviously.
The important thing there, that 33 just towed to the pits, so he's going to be sitting there probably a good minute or two before repairs can even start, and might be getting himself a lap down. As we go back to that Sandwich Man Racing Sports memorabilia wreck replay on what might be one of the longest lasting wrecks we've had in a while. 66 slides it off of turn 2, and then it looks like when they were checking up the 33, just got turned at the last second, and then, wow, just absolute T-bone.
Yeah, I think that was Derek De Silva, his teammate.
Wow, teammates making some hard contact there, and it sends the 33 flipping, and that's going to be a long night there for Devin Zimmerman to make up what's probably going to be a lap or two down after the tow.
Definitely, and yeah, big damage right there for the 33, obviously having a tow. You know, thankfully though for, you know, Devin, it might seem like the end of the world right now, but we're only on lap 18. This is, I believe this is our second yellow right now, or so, you know, we're call it 15, if not even, probably 10 to 14 green flag laps, and we've had 2 yellow flags already, Brandon, so he's going to have opportunity to get his laps back, I believe, if this thing continues going like this. So, you know, Devin's just got to stay calm as possible, get back out on track, and, you know, it might not be over for him.
No, still plenty of time, but I want to know when that tow period ends and when the fast repair hits for the 33, which is another story altogether, too. He won't have a fast repair after this one, so he obviously has to use it here, and don't believe he used it at any other point. I don't think he had any damage before. But the other thing we should probably do is say sorry to the 66, because their nice little broadcast jinx hit there as on that first green flag lap he got turned around there on the track after we talked to him. So broadcast curse probably hit him a little bit worse there than normal.
Definitely. Well, we're going to bring up another driver here. It's going to be Nick Goen. Nicholas Goen. It's Jake Rowell and Brandon Domain up here in the Speed Racing Network booth. Man, you started up front on the pole. You kind of fell back a little bit. Now you're in 6th place, man. You know, kind of give the fans at home a little, you know, peace of mind of, you know, what it's been like for you out on the track tonight.
It's been pretty good. I mean, just kind of taking my time. Definitely don't want to push too hard. I mean, we did have a nice little 13-lap run there, hoping for a long run. So, but hopefully this doesn't turn into like a little one of those classic cautions breed cautions kind of thing. But it's been pretty smooth out here. Just kind of taking my time with my tires. And don't want to push too hard. And you know, hopefully we can get a long green flag run here, and I'll show what we have under the hood here.
Definitely. Well, we see it's one, or you know, you're coming to the green flag, so we'll get you back down to your team, buddy. But you know, good luck in the rest of the race. You know, shout out to that Wayne's team. It's you know, I kind of like the dark blue and the 88. You know, the red, white, and blue you got going on with that. So it's a good looking car, and you know, good luck the rest of the way, Nick.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
There you go, Brandon. You know, that's the mindset all these guys probably have right now, just hoping it doesn't turn into a demo derby, so to speak, with, you know, too many yellow flags, and they are able to kind of get back into that groove of, you know, multiple green flag laps. And there he is, Devin Zimmerman. If you're the 33 Cars fans, you know, he is back on track, only 2 laps down, so he just needs 2 yellow flags, and he'll get the lucky dog and get those laps back.
Yeah, and important to note, he is the only driver not on the lead lap, so even though he is 2 laps down, he is in position for the lucky dog to get that first one back.
Yes, he is. And up front again, it's going to be Zachary Taylor with Jovi Sagipet on his outside. 14 car is going to be in command. He's going to get the green flag, and he drops the hammer and is trying to pull away from Jovi, but Jovi did a really great job this time, hanging tough on the outside as they go down into turn 1. They're going to be side by side. You're going to see Sagipet really use the outside work, but he better be careful. Those 2 guys behind him, the 85 and 11, almost wanted to make it 3 wide off of turn 2. Sagipet again, that huge run down the back is just going to be looking to where he can go, where Zach doesn't, to use that huge run he gets on that high side.
That was actually one of the best defensive restarts we've seen from the driver that starts second in really the past few weeks of any racing. He did a fantastic job staying door to door, but it was just that inside run going into turn 1 that set Taylor up to pull out in front, but still very close racing. We're actually seeing Jovi take the inside here, possibly trying to get a little bit of the draft going down the backstretch. And we got a spin out in the back. It might be controlled enough that we won't have a caution. I don't see a yellow flag out. It's Emerson Arden that got loose out of turn 2. Not sure if it was by himself or if he had a little help doing so, but no caution. We continue to go racing.
Yellow flag stays in the flagman's hip pocket. 3-car though is trying to get going here and get around the 14. He's got some hungry cats behind him. In the 85 of Gregory Joyner, Dustin Scruggs in the 11. Now these guys are right there ready to pounce as well, so it'll be interesting. Does Jovi, go to the high side here soon? Try to get that run on the high side and get around the 14 car. Does he stick it around the inside, kind of wrap the paint, as they like to call it, and try to get around the 14 car, doing it on the low side?
Well, I won't pry and ask if you had any strategy idea there. That might be a little bit of a secret, but Jovi trying to really stick the nose underneath the rear bumper of the 14. Going once again for that inside run. Didn't take a huge advantage of it. Still going to try to stick the nose there, but the 14's going to make that cut and block off that line, closing the door at least on this lap, as we're nearly a quarter of the way through this race already.
Yeah, and when we get green flag laps here, man, they click off really, really quick. So, this is what we saw in the truck series. We kind of had a restart with 25 to go. Next thing you know, it was 5. Oh, we got contact in turns 1 and 2. Not too sure. I believe it was Dylan Patterson, and I think that's Rhett Tucker, one of the Bronco cars. No yellow flag yet, though. If these cars are sliding on the inside of that white line and it doesn't come out, he's going to back up, though, and that's going to bring out the yellow flag. That's Brad Williams in the 89 car. Get it going, buddy. These guys want to see a green flag right now up front. This is some good racing between the top 4 right now.
Well, we could say a very lenient flag ban on that one, but everything really washed down towards the inside after that original contact, up high towards the wall. So there was no harm in continuing the race. So it's a good thing we're still green here, as this has been great racing up front as the top 3 continue to spread apart just a little bit. Dustin Scruggs about a half second behind these 3, and then it's another second to Ryan Ducombe.
Yeah, it's these 3, then Ryan Ducombe in that 7 car. This is what happens on these long green flag runs. If you use your stuff up early, you're able to really burn through your stuff. But if you save just enough, as well as, kind of keep yourself within striking distance of the leaders, you got a really good shot at being up front leading some laps. And we see here, there's an 85 car, Gregory Joyner, going to the inside of Jovi Sagiped, trying to take 2nd place. I think he's faster than these 2, Brandon. So if he's able to get around the 3, he's going to try to, make a battle between him and Zach Taylor for this lead.
He did a great job setting that up, coming out of turn 2 the last time and down the back straightaway. Just got a nice run and slowly just kind of, I won't say baited the move, but he just did a good job of just not really showing his hand too early and then just making that move to the inside going into turn 3. But Jovi really comfortable running on the outside, which I think not many drivers are around this track. The inside 95% of the time the preferred line. So I think anybody that
these 2 are going to make contact. They tore one another, man. That was spicy there for a moment. Gregory Joyner, I think, got into the corner a little too deep, a little too hot. Kind of slid up, hit the left side door of Jovi Sagiped. And sure enough, Greg comes over the radio, says, "Hey, man, that's my bad." And Jovi's like, "It's all good, no worries." So that's what we love to see between drivers out here on the track. But, they keep it clean. We're still running, but right now, only thing Greg's got to worry is that 11 car right behind him, trying to take over 3rd place.
Yeah, and getting that close is going to feel the draft effects too. So the 11's going to get a little bit better of a run than he might have before. So it's going to be a little bit more uncertain if the 85 can hang on to that 3rd spot. But he's doing a good job of re-pulling away from the 11 and moving back towards Jovi in the 3.
Yeah, I kind of wonder, maybe Jovi got a little bit of damage from that on the left side when him and Greg, made contact. Not really seeing it too much, so could just be the difference in tires. Obviously before they made contact, Greg kind of ran him down, but right here we see Greg Olenek going to the inside of Daniel Keith Jr. to take over 9th place, and Daniel Bowdler in that 6 car trying to get around the 23 car as well. So these 2 guys, they're trying to make their way through the wreck, or They got themselves through the wreck that we saw. Didn't bring out a yellow with the 89 car, Brad Williams, but now they're trying to make up that lost time. So these guys are running really, really hard to make up that time they lost.
And Bowdler back into the top 10. That makes it 5 playoff drivers in the top 10. So we're seeing that 50-50 split. And somebody, it's Gregory Joyner making the move onto the inside, going once again for that second position.
Yeah, he, you know, Greg's making the inside work. Jovi going to get into the fence a little bit there. So you don't want to hit it too hard and hurt the car, especially if this thing's going to go green. These guys have, you know, still about 30 laps of fuel left on board. So, you know, if you get damage here now, it's this could really, really hurt you if this thing, you know, stays green for a long, long time. You know, that 3 car could really fall back, lose a lot of spots, a lot of time to the leaders, and that's not what you want to see. So you got to run it very, very careful up on the high side if you want to run it. You can't be risking it too much this early. I mean, we're not even halfway yet, Brandon.
Yeah, and I mean, the Xfinity cars are running a lot tighter, I think, than the trucks did last night, at least when I was kind of just playing around with the Xfinity car just to get a feel for it, as Dustin Scruggs in the 11 now moving to the inside, and he is slowly working his way up towards the front. Just all of a sudden, he was in third, now he's making the move for second. He's got a good run here on the inside, but that outside line is going to get that momentum. Scruggs hanging tough.
It's, yeah. You know, and right behind the 2 leaders of Zach Taylor and Gregory Joyner, from 3rd place to 6th place, that's going to be 4 of the 5 RSR cars right now. So whatever they got going on in those Toyota Supras, they have all put it forth together this week here at Charlotte. They're, you know, trying to get up here up front and, you know, take over the command of this race. But I tell you what, these 2 guys behind Zachary Taylor are definitely a little bit quicker than him right now. So it's just a matter of finding the run, placing your car in a good spot to make that. And you see this paint scheme the 85 car's got going on. It's got the Blue Angels on the quarter panel, and then on the hood, you know, he's got Chris Kyle. So it's a good-looking patriotic scheme right here, Brandon.
Yeah, I love seeing all these Memorial Day themed race cars. I think about half the field last night and a good chunk of the field tonight doing similar styles, and it just kind of came organically where everybody just all of a sudden, here's a Memorial Day paint scheme, and one by one everybody started throwing them in there. It's great to see this from everybody in SRN, from the trucks and Xfinity tonight. Expecting that to continue on the Cup side as Gregory Joyner continuing to stalk the 14 car, who has started to slide back just a little bit in this run. Not sure if it's tire wear or if he's just not getting a good long run compared to Joyner and Scruggs.
Yeah, Greg right now kind of seems to be faster, just trying to find the right spot to get it done. He's tried to peek his nose, you know, and you can see he's kind of a little cautious, doesn't want to make contact with the 14. But I'll tell you what, Zachary Taylor is running him really, really tight, as we see these 2 going to get really, really close, and that's going to allow the 11 car here, Dustin Scruggs, going to get a big momentum run. Just got nowhere to go with it, though, because you got Joyner to the inside, Zachary Taylor to the outside. And, you know, if you're at the 11, do you make it 3 wide? Maybe. You know, that's all up to the 11 of Dustin Scruggs to make that call. So these guys are going at it right now. You see a driver back here again, still on the outside wall. It's going to be the 3 car of Jovi Sagiped in 4th, trying to hold off Josh Marcy and Nicholas Goen, trying to make their way back up to the front.
And Jovi might be forced into a 3-wide situation. I was just about to mention with the Dustin Scruggs idea, there's a lot of tracks I would say, yeah, go for it. Go 3 wide for the lead, as Gregory Joyner, speaking of the lead, is trying to get clear of the 14. This is going to be close. It might try to slide up. It might be a little too early to try to move that aggressive, though. As Zachary Taylor trying to come back onto the outside. He'll have the run going down the back straightaway. He's also going to get a push from the 11.
Yeah, this is some good action right here. These 3 guys kind of pulled away a little bit by about half a second to 3/4 of a second. Almost a full second, actually, back to the 88 car. But Gregory Joyner gets it done. Going to clear the 14. Dustin Scruggs now trying to make the inside work on that 14 car. So in a matter of 1 lap, you can see Zachary Taylor go from leading this thing to now possibly being in P3 and almost having, you know, 4th place right behind him to, you know, capitalize on, you know, the loss of speed. That 14 car obviously really, really fast on the short run. Right now, man, he is trying to find everything it's got in that 14 car. So Zach Taylor on the inside here, Dustin Scruggs. Scruggs is going to get a good run through the middle of the corner off the exit and pull him down the front stretch.
Yeah, that 14 just looks real tight on him here after we got about 20 laps into this run. And don't look now, but here comes Going in the 88. Now all of a sudden, right on the back bumper of Zachary Taylor, a couple car lengths back. But he said he likes the longer runs with this car, and it's showing as he's made his way up to 4th.
Yeah, he definitely, he told us that. That's what we've, realized here. He's really making some good time. It's just a matter of, him getting through 3rd and 2nd place. But back here, 2 playoff guys. It's going to be Mike Lepicki in the 46 and Bo Tiffany in the 13, battling for 14th and 15th. So, these 2 guys, albeit we've usually seen them a little bit further up, kind of had a little bit of a struggling day so far here early on as we see Nick going to the inside of that 14 car.
Nick Going continuing to impress here in the past few weeks and in this race as well. And
Yellow
we got
flag.
a caution on the track right after Going takes 3rd, and it's both playoff drivers and 3 playoff drivers. Lepicki, Tiffany, and Zimmerman does not have a fast repair left, and this might be game over for Devin Zimmerman tonight.
My, oh my. Playoff implications. Brandon Domain, here we go again with another Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Wreck replay. You can check them out on Shopify. They've got all kinds of die-cast t-shirts, hats. So here you see these 2 guys up front in front of Zimmerman. Zimmerman had nowhere to go. Big hit there. I think the 13 car thought he was a little clear. The 46 ended up not being clear, and unfortunately sent him to the outside wall. It's what I was, gathering from the race chatter between these 2 as we were going through the wreck replay there. Man, oh man, that's going to really hurt the 33 of Devin Zimmerman.
Yeah, that's big trouble there. Not sure if Lepicki or Tiffany already used a fast repair. Wow, that's a hard shot for the 46. Square into that little inlet there. If he has used a fast repair, that might be the end of his night as well. If not, then he's still got some life there as we're closing in on halfway through this race. But that was a very hard hit, very huge playoff implications, especially for Devin Zimmerman, who looks to be done for the night.
Yeah, he announced it on the radio chatter that he is down or done for the night. So the 33 car gonna need a Hail Mary out at Michigan International Speedway. That's tough to see from any of our playoff drivers. So, but up front, man, that 85 car, Gregory Joyner, going to come out of pit lane in the lead. Going to have Nick Going, who's going to be in 2nd place now on this restart. So a little bit of changing of the guard here. Earlier on, it kind of was all about the 14 and the 3 car of Zach Taylor and Jovi Sagiped. So, right now, Brandon, it seems to be the longer run. The faster you are on the longer run, man, it really pays off for you here so far tonight.
Yeah, I think right now we've got the 3 cars that have been fast on a short run, but faster on a long run. They're the ones that are up front right now, and it's a little worrisome if I'm the field seeing that 88 making his way through the field and then gaining a position on pit road even, which iRacing does a good job. They keep it all relatively close. Pit stop times, but it is all on the driver on how you get through pit road. So if you go in a little bit slow, you miss your pit box, you leave a little slow, anything like that, then that's going to obviously be a factor. So that tells me that Nick Going absolutely just nailed that run through the pits and picked up 1 extra spot. Now he's going to be starting on what probably will be the outside on this restart about halfway in.
We're going to bring up the 85 car, Gregory Joyner. Greg, this is Jake Rowell and Brandon Domain up here in the SRM booth, buddy. How you feeling right now?
I'm feeling like y'all are trying to give me a broadcaster's curse, so don't do that.
We'll try not to, buddy. So we see you got the patriotic scheme on the car tonight. You're up front leading laps. We usually see you kind of make your way through the field later on in the race. But, buddy, how you feeling leading this thing, not even halfway yet?
Oh, this is like my favorite track. I feel like we're strong enough to win, but that 88 car in the 6 is going to be very quick at the end. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. Hopefully we can pull out a win finally for the season.
Well, hey, if it makes you feel any better, we're only 1 for 2 on the broadcaster jinx tonight, so it's not a guarantee or anything like that. But after this first half of the race, we've seen you be quick on the short run, but it seems like you're even faster on the long run. Is there anything that you're kind of picking up on that just makes it easier on the long run, or is it just getting comfortable out there?
No, I think backing up my corners a lot more helps. That's what I've been doing, kind of as the run goes on, transition, letting off the throttle a little bit earlier, going into the corners, and seeming to help. So I guess that's what it is.
All right, buddy. Well, pace lights are off, so that means you're going to be going green flag racing here this time or next time by. So we'll get you back down to your spotter and the team you were with there. So good luck, man, in the rest of this thing. And, hey, who knows? Maybe we'll be interviewing after this thing's all over and done with.
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, Brandon. Well, that was obviously who's going to be starting this thing off in the lead here on this restart. So, man, almost halfway. It's been an interesting race so far. What are your thoughts so far?
Well, my thought right now is that, wow, the drivers even know about the broadcast jinx in the middle of the race, so apparently our reputation has preceded us. But it's been real interesting seeing the fallback for some of the guys that were quick on the early runs, most notably Taylor, Soggy Ped. They were very fast early and then just kind of faded, and we're seeing these long runs go. So it's going to be a question of, do we continue to see long runs, or are we just going to start having a caution fest here in the final half of the race?
Yeah, I feel like we're going to see a longer run, and then, whether it kind of be as those tires start to fall off, we might see yellow, or kind of, really later on in the run when the tires are at their worst, we might see a yellow flag. I think that's going to be the way this thing goes here. But I tell you what, this 85 car is going to be looking to get out to a big lead. He gets a really good restart on Nick Gowen. He's able to pull away by a few car lengths, and that's going to allow the 11 car Dustin Scruggs to get to the inside of Nick Gowen. And right now that 14 car of Zach Taylor, who is always aggressive on restarts, is going to be trying to find a lane that those two guys aren't. And he's going to have that 3 car Joey Soggy Ped right up his rear bumper. But Nick Gowen, man, made that outside work. He's going to take over this lead before they're even down into turn 3.
This is going to be real curious to see. You got the 3 cars that I think have been the fastest early on in runs. They're sitting 3rd, 4th, and 5th, with cars that are better on the long run leading the way in front of them. So I'm really curious to see how this plays out, if those 3 settle in, or if they continue to go with that aggressive pace early in the run.
Yeah, I think if you're the 14 and the 3, you got to be aware of that. You kind of fell off even though you're up front for a while. You see these 2 guys really going hard right now. Zach Taylor throwing a little bit of a block off of turn 2, and Joby trying to get to his inside, but 14 really stuffs it down into turn 3, using up that middle lane. That's going to allow Joby not to really use up the track on corner exit. The 14 is going to get a good run on the 11, try to look to the outside, maybe try to go for the over-under before they get down into turn 1, and sure enough he does. It's going to make Dustin have to move up, but Zach Taylor hits the apron. That's going to open the door for Joby. Buddy, this is good racing on these restarts.
This is fantastic here, and it has been great racing all night. And I even thought last night was great racing as well. And this Charlotte just boding well for a lot of passing opportunities back as we go to one of these classic tracks that everybody's used to, traditional 1.5-mile quad oval. It's Joby Soggy Ped continuing to keep the bumper just underneath the 14.
Oh, Zach really sent it in there, almost clipping the 11. I find it really funny how we say, the 3 and the 14 are the fastest 2 on the short run, but here we are with 3 cars, right in front of them, where these 2 guys, that they can't get it done. I think that just shows you the pace of the 3 cars in front of them. And sure enough, Joby and Zach might not be in the lead right now, but they are side by side, like we saw really early on in this race for quite a bit of time.
Yeah, I mean, they've been the fastest on the short run, but you don't go any faster when you're side by side continuously like they've been. And it's also a little bit. Dustin Scruggs got a little loose there. I'm not sure if there was a little contact between him and the 3, but he kind of moved up a little bit. And here comes Aaron Gerwitz onto the inside, and he's going to move into the top 5 if he can pull off this pass. He kind of pushed up just a little bit. But as we were talking about 3 playoff drivers that had a huge moment to bring out that last caution, how about Aaron Gerwitz, who entered this race 10th in the points, 9 points behind the cut line, and he's sitting up here racing for 5th.
All I got to say to that, I told you so, Brandon Domain. He was the last driver in the playoffs that we went through. I said, this is Aaron Gerwitz. type of track. I saw it happen last season firsthand on the track, and you're seeing it right now, what he can do here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. And he's trying to, pull along a couple of his buddies behind him with Daniel Bowdler in that 6th, and Josh Marcy trying to, just follow the 09 right now, because anywhere he goes, he's going to have a hole of, free track space, because he's just that quick right now. As you see, Jovi Sagipet and his teammate really battling hard here, side by side through 1 and 2, but I think Jovi's going to get the pass done. I'm sure Dustin will kind of lift a little bit to let Jovi, be clear on corner entry here as we head down into turn 3.
Dustin again kind of washed up on the entry there in 3.
Oh,
and
Nick Gowen got the apron. That's going to open the door for Greg Joyner. Nick Gowen going to hit the wall a little bit too on the exit of turn 4. Man, oh man, going from the lead to now almost falling back to 5th place. And, just only the front stretch. He's going to lose even more spots, Brandon.
He just got hung out to dry after he got pushed onto the outside there and lost it just a little bit. May have flipped the wall just a tad, and he is all of a sudden going to be seeing himself fade farther and farther back. He's going to fall behind Bowdler, who will take 6th, Gerwitz, who will take 7th. Here comes Greg Olenek. This is the first time we really brought him up tonight, as he's now going to slide just behind Nick Gowen in 8th.
And from one lap being in the lead to now all the way in 8th, it kind of reminds me of what happened to our leader coming to the white flag of the Truck Series race last night. A little bit different situation there, but that's just how quickly you can lose, a ton of spots. As we see, the top 12 right there, just single file with almost, the same amount of space in between almost every single car. That just shows you how competitive it is right now to, be able to get to the car in front of you, make the pass, and then go run down the next guy, because they're just that close in lap times right now.
And amazingly enough, and it happened in the trucks too, but in the Xfinity Series, I think it's even more, as we see Josh Marcy make a move on Dustin Scruggs. This will be the race for 4th coming out of turn 2. But the drag effect and the way that the cars run here at Charlotte, you really do kind of get a little bit of pack racing in a way. It's not going to be like a Daytona or a Talladega, but everybody does stick pretty close, and the draft effect is real here. To just kind of keep the field a little bit tighter than you would expect on a 1.5 miles.
Oh, absolutely. And we saw that last night with the trucks, when Jonathan Byer and Corey Saucier were side by side for a while. Cole Martin and Kyle Wimble in the 91 truck last night were really able to, gain a ton of time down the back stretch and the front stretch. And those two guys were side by side because it just opens that much of a bigger hole in the air for them to, work that draft and gain a ton of speed down the straightaways. So that's something you got to be aware of if you're running a guy hard side by side. So, but here we go, some more battle, in the back of the pack, or middle of the pack, I should say. That's gonna be the 7 of Ryan Ducombe trying to get around the 11 of Dylan Patterson for 11th place. And there's Nick Gowen. Fell back all the way to 10th place after leading this race a mere 5-6 laps ago right now.
And I can tell you firsthand, and mine wasn't so much from the wall, just had some side contact a couple times. As Gowen gets loose, I'm not sure if the 8 got on the back bumper there. It was a great save, but you can see that rear damage that I don't think we saw going into turn 3. So the 88 now with a little bit more damage. And what I was about to bring up is that, I had a little side contact a couple times in that race last night, and just how aero sensitive this track can be. It just tightened up the truck so much, and with these Xfinity cars being as tight as they are already around Charlotte, I just can't imagine that that's a comfortable feeling, especially on exit.
Not at all, and you see these 3 RSR cars kind of battling out right now. The 11 and the 35 are trying to figure out who's a little bit quicker than one another. It's like Dustin kind of pulls away from Josh, then the next corner, Josh goes down into the corner, with a bit of a run. So these 2 guys right here behind their teammate Jovi Sagipet, who almost got into the outside wall, as you saw Daniel Bowdler do the same exact thing. Jovi Sagipet going to lose a few spots, kind of almost the same situation as Nicholas Gowen had there, where he got into the wall and just these guys are lined up, right behind him. There's nowhere to go. So, but it looks like he gets back down in front of Aaron Gerwitz. So Jovi's only going to fall back to 5th place right now. So that's something to keep an eye out as well. But I tell you what, that 85 car is starting to walk away from the 14 car. Zachary Taylor, it's almost to a full second lead right now.
Yeah, it's about 12 laps, 13 laps into this run, and that's about the point that we really saw the 85 show up on that last run after our second caution. And the 85 just really starting to walk away here, like you were saying, nearly a 1 second lead. And if you can get about that far, you're really starting to negate the draft behind you. And it really gives you that opportunity to just pull away farther and farther. I think it was Corey Saucier last night did a good job of that, where he got about 2 seconds clear, and then all of a sudden he was 3 seconds, 3.5 seconds away from the field for a good bit there. So once you get it far enough away, it's almost like a Formula One with the DRS kind of effect. Once you get far enough away, you kind of avoid that threat. As you see Jovi Soggyfed back up to that Larson line. He's going to lose the position, maybe stay with it, and he's going to get that run on the outside going down the front stretch to stay side by side with Aaron Gerwitz, and this is great racing for 5th.
It is, and then we got a battle for 2nd up here. Dustin Scruggs going to the inside of Zachary Taylor, so the 11 car kind of coming to life a little bit too, trying to see if he can't clear that 14 car on the inside to see if he can go run down the 85. But like you said, man, I think Joyner is out front enough right now, kind of like the DRS zone of, you know, having to be within a second to have that rear flap on the rear wing kind of open up to get the extra power. And I think the 85 is kind of clear of that, like you said. So it's going to be tough for these guys to run them down. And then you see the battling from Josh Marcy's point of view for 2nd place. You know, these two guys start going at it even more. It's just going to let the 85 car get that much smaller out the front windshield of all these guys. They're trying to run him down. Zachary Taylor almost into the outside wall on the exit of turn 2.
Yeah, I love this position that Josh Marcy's in right now. He can just kind of sit there and say, you know what, you want to race for 2nd? Y'all race for 2nd. I'll save my tires and be better on the long run should we get one. You're still looking at about 40, 45 laps on the fuel window. We restarted at, I think it was lap 47, as Josh Marcy making the move to the inside. This will be for 3rd. And a good showing tonight for Josh Marcy, continuing to just chips off position by position.
Yeah, they definitely are. Those two, you know, teammates, the 11 and the 35, trying to get around Zach Taylor. But like you said, we are, you know, coming to 36 laps to go. I can tell you right now, these guys only have 24 laps of fuel left, so we're definitely going to need one more pit stop, even if this thing goes green all the way. These drivers will have to come down pit lane and you know, get some sort of service. Obviously, for fuel is what you're going to need, and you know, they're going to want to be getting, they're going to be screaming on the radio to their crew chiefs for a set of tires. So. Strategy is always going to be a name of the game in racing, so it's going to be very, very awesome to watch this kind of, you know, plan out or unravel in front of us, and you know the plan these different drivers have. And man, oh man, 35 got a little out of shape there.
I tell you what, going down the back straightaway, I thought the 14 pretty aggressive. I'm not going to say it was a bad move, just an aggressive move. It looked like, at least from our angle that we had, that kind of threaded the needle a little bit there with the gap between the 09 and the 35, and that might have set up that awkward entry into turn 3 for the 35, possibly for the 14 as well. And Greg Joyner starting to get reeled in by Dustin Scruggs, who's continuing to have a very impressive night, and just he's been probably the best in terms of just overall pacing, short run and long run. And look at the way he closed in on Joyner this time. And he's going to get to the inside, and this might be an easy-ish pass for the lead here from what we've seen so far.
Yeah, not the lap they just hit, but the lap before. Dustin Scruggs was 0.8 of a second faster than Gregory Joyner. I'm not too sure if a little trouble had to happen with the 85, because that time by Dustin was only 0.2 faster, so 85 might have had to check up on one of the exit of the corners from hitting the outside wall or something. But right now, this 11 car is on rails, making the pass for the lead. You see him start to drive away at a turn 4, and I tell you what, with pit stops happening, looks like we got Emerson Ardon on pit lane already. So, you know, the window is open for our drivers to come down pit lane and, you know, get their service on their vehicles right here. And again, another pass on the 85. Joshua Marcy to the inside of Gregory Joyner. So that's 1-2 for the non-playoff drivers for RSR right now. And looks like Gregory Joyner's starting to fall off. So it makes you wonder if he, you know, wants to come down pit lane right now and get new tires.
Oh man, that's a tough call. 32 laps to go. I would say this is still too early for anybody to come in. And you're still setting yourself up for a caution, possibly really messing up your night if you're one of the few ones that comes in early. And now we got Aaron Gerwitz going to the inside of Zachary Taylor. That's going to be for the 4th position, as Taylor starting to slide back now along with Joyner, as Greg Olenek in 6th position is going to be the next one to possibly set up a move as Taylor tries to counter Gerwitz onto the inside, but Aaron with a better run going into the turn. See if that affects him coming off, and it actually looks like Gerwitz faster in and faster off.
Yeah, definitely. And Aaron Gerwitz trying to get to the inside of the 85 of Gregory Joyner, which looks like he's going to get it done down into turn 1. So the 09 went from about 5th spot to now trying to battle for P3, but the 85 hanging tough on the outside, getting a little bit loose on the outside of that 09. The 14 almost grabs the wall. These two packs here, 2x2 for 2 rows right now. The battle for third is heating up here as those two guys in front are kind of walking away a little bit, but I think if this 09 and 31 get clear, you know, relatively soon, they're a little bit quicker than these guys in front of them. As I heard right there on the radio, the 81 of Rhett Tucker, Brandon, coming down pit lane right now.
Man, this is early, but you know what? He was kind of marred back in the pack just a little bit. I believe he was 15th the lap ago, the last time by the line. So at that point, you might as well take a shot at it, but it is early in this run. You're still going to be running. They're 24 laps in right now. There's 29 laps left. Not sure I like that ratio there.
Oh, Zach Taylor going to almost spin out coming into pit lane. Oh, he had to have been speeding, I'd have to imagine. If not, it was very, very close. Jovi Sagiped right behind him. Dustin Scruggs just came over the radio, leading this race, saying he's coming into pit lane this time. So the pit window is definitely open right now. Josh Marcy, his teammate, in the 35. So this is the strategy right here. You know, you say it's a little too early, Brandon. I say, hey, everyone else is coming down pit lane. I can't afford to be out there any longer. And 09 of Aaron Gerwitz is going to try to lead a lap here to get that bonus point. That would only make them 8 points behind the cut if those guys ahead of them have not led a lap. So, you know, Aaron Gerwitz kind of playing into the strategy right now. And it looks like that's Nicholas Goins staying out as well behind them, who's going to be in 3rd place right now until this whole green flag pit stop cycle kind of cycles itself out and we can get, you know, reasserted back onto the track.
I like that move by Aaron Gerwitz in the 09. Just get that bonus point. We've seen how important that can be in not just the Xfinity Series, but in Cup and Trucks as well. And it looks like he's going to continue to stay out as Greg Olenek will make the pit stop. And I'll stand by. I still think it's too early, but at the same time, once everybody else starts coming in, yeah, you kind of have to follow the trend. You can't be the lone one that stays out there too much longer unless there's a special exception, like you need to get that bonus point to help out your playoff cause. Exactly,
and the 09 is coming into pit lane this time. He said it down the front. He said it again coming down into turn 3, so he obviously means business. He's going to be coming down this time, but almost kind of ruined his entrance there, getting a little too high, losing a lot of time because the 88 of Nick Goins going to pass him into pit lane, but Daniel Bowdler going to stay out to lead that.
Oh, we got trouble in turn 2. Or turn
Daniel
4,
Bowdler. Oh, man, the 35 car in the outside fence, but I tell you what, Daniel Bowdler, I think, got a lot of guys a lap down, trapped them. So I think Daniel Bowdler should cycle out as the leader once this thing, you know, cycles itself out once we get to the pace car and everything like that.
Well, once again, Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia bringing you the wreck replay. And we got 3 wide down the backstretch. And at Charlotte, that number does not mean good things. They do file out just a little bit, but it looks like the 89...
Man.
This got loose. Whoa,
oh
we got
my goodness.
slingshot?
Wow,
I don't know what the proper
to
term
the
is.
moon.
Yeah.
Brad Williams to the moon, man.
Brad Williams doing an AMC impersonation this week as he went all over the place, and if you're squeamish, look away about now.
I tell you what, it looked like the 89 and I think it was the 32 in front of him of Troy Techmeyer, or 32, sorry. Those two guys, I think, were still out on those old tires, and that was just the difference in speed of the 35 of Josh Marcy and the 11 of Dustin Scruggs running up on those guys with such speed, and you know, it was just the difference of it right there. And I tell you what, Daniel Bowdler.
So the top 5, actually I think it's going to be the top 4, did not pit, so here they come. And that's going to be Bowdler, Siegfried, Tackmeyer, and Keith. So everybody else is going to be, well, Gerwitz and Goen were not trapped a lap down because of the timing of that caution. Everybody else did get trapped a lap down, and that's kind of that nightmare scenario. I didn't really bring it up, but when I was saying it's a little early to come in, that's the second part of it. If you come in early, everybody's starting to go in and out of the pits. You're starting to have the differences in tire wear, differences in speed. It's a higher percentage that you'll see that caution come out, and that struck a lot of people there.
Yeah, it definitely did, because Aaron Gerwitz right now is going to be the leader, and you see all these cars in front of him to the pace car that is out of turn 2 right now. Those guys are going to be waiting for the one to go, and they'll get the wave around in front of the leader. But we're going to bring Aaron Gerwitz up to the booth right now. Our leader of the race right now, Aaron Gerwitz. It's Jake Roel and Brandon Domain up here in the SRM booth, buddy. How you feeling right now leading this thing?
I'm feeling a little confused right now.
Well, I mean, confused in a good way. I mean, we can do a little secondary matching wits here, but it looks like that timing there played off perfectly for your pit stop, and right as the caution came out.
Well, we didn't even service the car. One of my teammates told me, he's like, caution out, just don't service it, and looks like we should be coming out 6th. If my math is correct here, but I'm just
so
like,
you've not come down pit lane yet.
No.
Gotcha. So you got to catch up to the field. I see what you're saying. So yeah.
Yeah.
Coming in right now, but you'll get service, and yeah, you'll only be about, I think, 6th place, because it looks like Dustin Scruggs, Jovi Sagipet's pitting behind you, who's in 7th right now. So yeah, buddy, once you pit, I think you'll be about 6th place. So, but a lot of those guys behind you got trapped a lap down, unfortunately.
Yeah, that was a little confusing there. So I came from my pit and I saw a yellow flag, and I was just like, what do I do? So I've never been in that position before. But it should be a good 23 laps here, guys.
Yeah, and I know, man, you are 9 points out of this thing right now before the start of this race, so you need a great finish here. And then you need to go into Michigan, the International Speedway, and have a good finish. You know, I said you got to watch out for Rev Racing, especially Aaron Gerwitz. You know, it really struck my eye last season. You know, how strong all of a sudden, not that you weren't a good driver, but you just were so consistent in these playoff races, and it seems to be happening again at the same exact time this season. I mean, just what is it about you guys over there at Rev right now? You know, kind of later on in the playoffs.
I mean, it's just the fact that determination, I just don't give up. It's just I'm out here focusing on long run speed today. That's what I've done all week. Focus on the long run and kind of pick them off one by one. That kind of showed there towards the end of that run that we were starting to make our way towards the front.
Definitely, buddy. Well, I think we're going to be getting the one to go this time by. So we'll get you back down to Rev Racing's chat. Enjoy it, and, you know, hopefully, man, you're able to pick up a few spots here. And we'll be interviewing after the race, Aaron. Good luck for the rest of the way.
Yeah, thank you, Jake.
Well, all right. So his confusion brought our confusion. There is not sure exactly. Yeah, that's a tough spot to be in if you've never been in one. But yeah, I mean, you're already on pit road. There's no harm in stopping when that caution comes out, and that little bit of strategy might going to set him back a few positions. But still, a great position for Aaron, sitting in 6th, but most importantly, 2nd amongst the playoff drivers. So this is going to be a good points night for him should he hang on.
Yeah, and right now you got Nicholas going in the lead, and then you got Daniel Bowdler, the 6th car, who's been hanging out about 10th place all race long. So these guys, you know, obviously Nick has been leading up front and then got into the outside fence and kind of fell back a bit. So these guys, you know, only 22 to go. They know it's go time, so it's going to be awesome to watch here.
Yeah, and you'll see on that left side of the screen the 11 of Dustin Scruggs, the 85 of Gregory Joyner, 2 of the fastest cars that we've seen all night, and Scruggs was really moving at the end of that last run. They're going to be starting 8th and 9th respectively, so I'm going to be interested to see how they work their way through the field.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very interesting to watch, because all these guys that had to get the wave around will be starting single file in the back of the pack, and they're going to be, you know, that much longer behind the leader. So here we go, though. Up front, it's going to be the 88 of Nicholas Gowen. And then that 6th car, Daniel Bowdler, who is very, very good at timing these restarts out to be able to stay side by side with the leader. But Nick Gowen does a great job on Daniel Bowdler. I tell you what, man, here we go. They're going to be running down into turn 1, and Nick Gowen's going to be trying to get away from the field as they head down into turn 1.
Interesting contrast. In first place, you have the winner and possibly the hottest driver in the past couple of weeks, Nick Gowen. He's going to be just ahead of the Atlanta winner, a track similar to Charlotte, and Daniel Bowdler, who also has plenty of momentum on his side the past couple of weeks. Loving this setup here for what could be a great final 20 laps.
Definitely. Daniel Bowdler going to do everything he can to get around them. But I tell you what, that 09 is trying to get back up to the top 3 right here as he makes his way to the inside of Troy Techmeyer. And Daniel Bowdler making contact with Nicholas Gowen. Oh, man, and Daniel Bowdler apologizes instantly over the radio. But Daniel Bowdler going to drive away from these two as Joshua Segfried going to go to the inside of the 88 cars. As now the 6th car of Daniel Bowdler, who we saw make contact with the 88, going to pull out to a little bit of about a half a second lead over the field right now. And Daniel Keith Jr. is around out of turn 4. There's that big wreck down the front stretch.
Yeah, cars going through the turf portion of the track, including Zachary Taylor going through the inside.
No
Daniel
yellow
Keith
flag, though.
Another wreck and heavy
There
into
it
turn
is.
1.
Mike Lipicki involved
Emerson
in another
Arden.
accident. Wow.
That is possibly the second wreck that we've had tonight that's taken over 10 seconds to actually develop. And again, it has heavy playoff significance. As we take a look at another Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Wreck replay, there's a whole lot to unpack on this one.
Absolutely, that was huge. I mean, it happened all the way out of turn 4, and it went all the way down the front stretch. The 23 gets out of shape, and I think Jovi Sagipet just has nowhere to go. Greg Joyner, though, does a great job saving the car. Kind of reminds myself of me at Atlanta coming through the field, or coming through the grass, man. It was, what a drive there. Able to keep it down off the wall.
A little Dukes of Hazzard moment there for Gregory Joyner as we take a look through Zachary Taylor's windshield. And he tried to go for a similar one, almost down the Roval final turn.
Oh,
and
then
you
you
can
see
see
the
how much
23 start spinning to his right there, and then you saw the wreck right there in front of him. I believe that was when Mike Lipicki and Emerson Ardon got involved and made contact then, and there, sure enough, it is. So, wow, what a lap right there that was, man.
That was very interesting. And if I'm in the 14 or the 85, I start kind of taking a look at the engine a little bit, watching the tacks, making sure that everything's all right there. I've had one of those moments where you kind of pop up in the air a little bit going through the infield, and suddenly you get a whole lot more engine damage than you thought you would have got. It doesn't always happen, but it's something to keep an eye on there for those two. As on track, it's going to continue to be Daniel Bowdler leading the way. Aaron Gerwitz is going to be in 3rd, and you have to go all the way back to Bo Tiffany in 7th for the next playoff driver. So for Bowdler and Gerwitz, this is a huge playoff night thus far, as you see how tight these playoff point standings were entering this race, and they have been flipped upside down in a big way, it seems.
Oh, absolutely. And, you see, obviously Devin Zimmerman on the outside looking in, or on the inside, now going to be on the outside looking in. He's 43 laps down in 24th, so this whole graphic right here is going to have a huge makeover once we get this race over with, and it's going to be a whirlwind going into Michigan International Speedway.
Yeah, I mean, you're looking at it right now. Daniel Bowdler probably going to be in the points lead. Aaron Gerwitz might be going from last into the top 5. Bo Tiffany might be going from 9th into the top 5, and all what is going to be breaking loose around them as we go to Michigan, and we might see several drivers within a couple of points of that cut line going into the 3rd and final race of this round.
Yeah, it's I don't think the carnage is over here tonight, though, too, Brandon. I think the way this thing has kind of turned into the last 10, 15 laps, it's only going to get that much wilder. Especially now you got guys that had a pit. Looks like the 14 car, Zach Taylor, also must have got a penalty of some sort. He is now 1 lap down in 22nd spot. I don't know how that happened with him, but I mean, man, a lot of these guys that are in the playoffs just not having the kind of nights we're accustomed to seeing right now.
No, in fact, I mean, you're looking at Dylan Patterson 17th, Gregory Joyner 18th, Mike Lipicki 21st, Zachary Taylor 22nd, Devin Zimmerman 24th. You're seeing more green names in the bottom 10, or as many green names in the bottom 10 as you see in the top 10.
Definitely, and then up front, though, it's going to be Daniel Bowdler with Joshua Segfried out to his outside, and then Aaron Gerwitz is going to line up behind him. And then you got Troy Techmeyer in 4th place. Marshall Stanley is going to be in 5th. Bo Tiffany has worked his way up to 6th place right now, and then that's where we see these guys that came down pit lane that are under this yellow. It's going to be Nick Gowen in 7th, Jovi Sagipet in 8th, Ryan Ducombe in 9th, and rounding out the top 10 is going to be Rhett Tucker in that 81 car. So right now, Daniel Bowdler's got, 6 cars in between him until you get to the first guy that pit, which is going to be that 88 car. So, the Daniel Bowdler's going to have, going to be 14 laps to go when we get the green. No, he doesn't have too many laps on those tires. So I think as long as this thing, keeps going in his favor, it's going to be hard to catch the 6 car.
Yeah, and I agree that there's not too many laps on those tires. I don't think that's going to be a huge factor. If I'm in the 88, you kind of had that half spin, you had some of the contact, you had some damage. I don't disagree at all with him coming in, especially only coming out in 7th. But I think if you're Daniel Bowdler, your tires are still fresh enough. I don't think there's going to be a problem here in the next 14 laps that you'll see significant wear. You're only looking at maybe 3 or 4 extra laps compared to everybody that came in.
Yeah, definitely. And, it's obviously they got a little bit fewer laps on those tires, but with this many cars in between them, it allows Bowdler to kind of check out if he pulls away from the field here. And then you got to pass all those cars in between you and him. And then by that time, man, that new on those new tires is kind of gone, and it's not as big as an advantage as it would be if Nick Owen was in 4th or 3rd or 5th place, somewhere around there. So it's going to be interesting to watch how fast those guys can get through this field on these restarts. And you got to watch that 3 car. He's going to be trying to make that outside line work. So we could see some 3 wide racing coming off of turn 2 right here.
And here we go, a huge jump for Daniel Bowdler. He's going to open up 2 or 3 car lengths before they even get to the line. And Aaron Gerwitz is going to follow through onto the inside, and he's going to take the 2nd position away from Joshua Siegfried. Marshall Stanley in 4th will file in just behind, and then it's side-by-side racing between Techmeyer and Goen for 5th and 6th.
And Nick Goen in the 88 going to try to make the inside work on the 32 of Troy Techmeyer. Looks like he's going to make it work as there's 3 rows of 2x2 behind Marshall Stanley, who's in 4th place right now. This is where the action is at right now in the top 10. These guys are fighting for every single inch on the track right here. And, if you're Jovi Sagipet, Rhett Tucker, you've seen the troubles the other playoff drivers have had. You're just hoping you get clear of these other guys, and that way you're kind of in control of your own car. And you don't have to worry about, being another driver involved in an accident.
And it is nervy in that hornet's nest that's going on right now, because you got to think about, I would say, 2 or 3, if not a couple more of these guys. As Bo Tiffany got into the wall, Ryan Ducombe goes through the grass as he got collected by Tiffany, who caught the wall, then came down to the inside and hit the 7. That's a great save by Ryan Ducombe. Wow, that was incredible to keep that thing going straight. He's only going to lose a couple positions.
Yeah, that was remarkable to see him not take out any other cars or anything like that. Nicholas Goen, Jovi Sagipet trying to make it 3 wide. You got to be careful with that. Marshall Stanley, though, is very talented in his own to not, give up too much race. Rhett Tucker going to go through the grass. Man, oh man.
Wow. We are seeing some incredible saves, and here comes Joshua Siegfried and Nick Goen side by side. This is going to be for 3rd and 4th. Jovi Sagipet continuing to make the outside work after that 3 wide. So for Sagipet and Tucker, they just continue to truck along. Wow.
Yeah, Jovi's really going to get the run right here. He's going to pinch the 66 on the bottom. Jovi's going to make the top work. And that's going to leave Rhett trying to fight side by side down the straightaway. Jovi's going to pay attention to the front windshield, trying to run down the 88 because he knows he's got to get to him before he gets to the 6, or else Gowen's going to get to the lead and be able to drive away from Jovi. But right now, Nicholas is filling up the rear view mirror of that 09 car of Aaron Gerwitz, looking to his inside right now as they head down into turn 3.
And that 88 just needed to get that car damage repaired, and all of a sudden he has come alive once again and making his way towards the front. And if I'm Daniel Bowdler, I know he was apologizing for that contact, but I'm sure there's a little thought in the back of the mind going, oh, I hope that 88 does not get on my back bumper at the end of this thing.
Absolutely, could see a little bit of a return in the favor, you never know, but the 3 car making the high side work, going to swing down to the inside of that 09, down the back straight away. Jovi Sagipet trying to take over 3rd place from Aaron Gerwitz, and he's going to bring along Rhett Tucker right behind. Rhett Tucker going to get ever so close to that rear bumper of the 3 car as Jovi Sagipet tries to drive towards the front now, try to run down the 88 of Nicholas Goen, but we got a yellow flag. The yellow is out. We got a car flipping out of turn 4. my, oh my, Brandon Domain, more carnage.
Man, how many times are you going to see somebody get airborne at Charlotte tonight? But we think it might have been Emerson Arden. We're still identifying who that was. And let's take a look at the Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia Rec replay for yet another time. And this one, it might not be the playoff Tier 1 implications, but it's going to be the playoff Tier 2 implications for Daniel Keith. And we see Zachary Taylor in there as well. He doesn't get it too bad.
Oh, but he's about to right here, buddy.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Emerson Ardon launching him to the moon. We're multiple space shuttles here at Speed Racing Networks. Queen City 150. Daniel Keith Jr. being the next SRN astronaut to go to the moon here at Charlotte. I mean, that is a wild ride as we sit in the driver's seat of that 23 car. There is not much you can do but hold on to your steering wheel. And I tell you what, Brandon, I just hope he was not sitting in VR, because that would have been a wild ride to watch in VR, that is for sure.
I was just thinking the same thing, and I was also thinking of the Dr. Evil line in the Austin Power movies where he gets all dizzy and he just goes, "Gonna vomit." That's how I would be feeling right now if I was in that car. That was a wild ride, and unfortunately for Daniel Keith Jr., looks like his night is over as he's disconnected after that one. I don't think he had a fast repair left either. So it looks like he'll be relegated to a 23rd place finish, as he came into this race tied for the lead in the Tier 2 standings, brought to you by Flavor Bomb, and Nicholas Goen, who he was tied with, sitting in second. So we might see a pretty good gap open up there in that series.
Yeah, this is not what you wanted to see if you're the 6 car right now, that yellow flag coming out, because now you got the 2 guys that were the first ones that had a pit lane on those fresher tires right behind you now. So Daniel Bowdler's probably sweating a little bit, seeing that 88 and that 3 car right behind them as they're, pacing and getting ready to go back green flag racing. I wonder if we can't get the 6 car up here real quick up to the booth. Let's see if we can grab Daniel Bowdler and see what's going through his mind. Daniel Bowdler, this is Jake Rowell and Brandon Domain up here in the SRM booth, buddy. How you going?
It's looking pretty good so far. Another one of these tracks I don't really like, and for some reason I'm finding my way up to the front.
I tell you what, we heard that Atlanta, it's kind of a common thing. You'll say, hey, I don't really like this place. I know I've heard it on another broadcast that Sean's just, anytime you say that, he's calling you out on it and the fact that you're lying. So, you got 2 guys behind you in your rear view that are on fresher tires. How are you going to hold off those 2 guys behind you?
Yeah, I think it's going to be pretty tough. Goen's been really, really fast here, and glad to see him save that there too when I got into him. That was kind of a little bit of an unfortunate deal. I did not expect the checkup that he had getting into one there, but yeah, I don't know. I got a little bit of lucky there with those green flag stops that happened, and got that caution that trapped a bunch of guys a lap down there and gave me some track position and let me get on fresh tires, and clean air is definitely helping. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens here. I feel pretty good that we could get maybe a top 5 or top 10 at least here. So that's kind of been my main goal coming into this track.
Definitely, buddy. Well, it'll be definitely interesting to watch. It's going to be a spicy restart here. Interesting to see what you do here. If you take the bottom or maybe take the outside to kind of get Jovi and Nick side by side maybe into turn 1 and kind of let you set sail and get away from them. But we'll get you back down to your team, man, and best of luck here on this last restart, hopefully, for you. So we'll see if we don't see you up here in the booth for a post-race interview.
All right, guys. Thank you.
All righty, Brandon. That's Daniel Bowdler's mindset right now. Also kind of wish we asked him, what if he was thinking about maybe Nick Goen kind of repaying the favor for getting into him a little bit earlier on in the race.
By the way, I think you planted the seed in his mind about that outside line. It looks like he's taking the outside, and this will be the first time we've seen the leader do that on a restart, so might give you a little credit for that one.
We shall see what happens here on this restart. That's going to allow, Rhett Tucker to be on the outside behind Daniel Bowdler, so that should allow the two teammates to be side by side as they go into turn one. So we'll see if this works for the 6. You know, maybe he's kind of seen the misfortunes of you know, quite a bit of playoff drivers so far, and you know, able to kind of maybe take this risk and see if it ends up paying off for a victory with only 3 laps to go once we get green flag racing here.
Yeah, and this is 4 laps, going to be 3 laps to go for this hopefully final shootout. Should we not have a green-white checker, and look at the dispersion of the playoff drivers. You have 6 of them in the bottom 10, 4 of them in the top 6. So there is a giant gap point-wise that's going to set up here unless any of those 4 playoff drivers in the top 6 find trouble here in these last 3 laps.
Yeah, this is it's only going to make that cut line that much tighter of a spot to get to. So we shall see. We're only going to have 3 laps to go unless we see that yellow flag once again. But Daniel Bowdler going to be on that outside, looking to get this thing rolling whenever he chooses to. We got to imagine he's going to want to go early and get gone soon. But Daniel Bowdler going to creep towards the restart zone and wait a little bit. Daniel Bowdler is going to get onto the gas, going to get a good restart. Still able to pull away. Rhett Tucker able to hang to the outside of Nick Goen, but you know, now Goen's clear of him, and now Jovi Sagiped and Rhett Tucker are side by side as we go down into turn 1. Jovi Sagiped
getting underneath the 88 just a little bit under that rear bumper, loosening him up. Going out of turn 2 down the back straightaway, and Jovi's just kind of trapped back there. It's not, you can go 3 wide, but as we've seen earlier, it is not the easiest move to pull off. It's almost a 2.5 lane kind of track at most, as we see some great racing with the field closing back in on Daniel Bowdler. Goen and Tucker side by side, but still reeling in Bowdler within 0.2 of a second. And Jovi Sagiped just hoping one of them makes a mistake and he can capitalize.
Yeah, Daniel Bowdler going to move down to block the inside, but we got a wreck down into turn, or down through the backstretch. That's going to be Emerson Ardon. Nick Goen all over the rear bumper, going to get into Rhett Tucker, who's into the outside fence. Oh, the 88 moves to 6, and then that gets him into his teammate. The white flag is out. I'll tell you what, buddy. This looks like last night. We could see the same type of thing. The leader that takes the white flag might not end up winning this race, but Nick Goen going to pull away from the 3 car right now. Jovi Sagiped's going to have to really dig deep here down into turn 3 to try to make this work. He's going to try to go to the high side, but I don't think it's going to be enough. And Nicholas Goen going to come off at turn 4. Going to win last week at Circuit of the Americas. He's going to go back-to-back with the Queen City 150 here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. 88 car going to go back-to-back, man. That's pretty impressive.
Did not have to wait as long for his second win as he did his first. We got a huge pile up in 1 at the end of this thing. And more cars getting launched to space, it looks like. But for Nick Goen, unbelievable. Just laid it on everybody last week on the road course. Come to a traditional 1.5 miles, as they're still wrecking. And all of a sudden, here he is back up front again, making that pass late. And very likely, we kind of caught to it just a little bit at the end of it. But it looks like that receipt was paid after that contact from Daniel Bowdler earlier in this one.
Yeah, definitely. We see the 88 burning it down here. Going to have a couple of his teammates probably burning it down with him. That's going to be the 84, Nathaniel Mon and Gregory Joyner. They're not teammates anymore, but I know they're close friends, so not surprised to see that. But Nicholas Goen, man, going back-to-back after winning the road course, now going to get his oval win here in Speed Racing Network. So for Nicholas Goen, man, he's not in the playoffs, Brandon, but I tell you what, a lot of momentum right now for this 88 car, Nick Goen.
I mean, if you start looking ahead to next season, once we get past that summer break, and you want me to start thinking about favorites here in the Xfinity Series, I mean, Nick Goen is moving up towards the top of that list, putting on a great show here in the second half of the season, and it capitalizes here with back-to-back wins.
Definitely does, and obviously Nick Goen's going to get the win here tonight in the 88 car. Second place from Roel Smith Racing is going to be Jovi Sagiped. Third place is going to be Daniel Bowdler. Fourth place can be Greg Olenek from Rev Racing. Great finish for him. Started 16th, so moved his way through the field. And rounding out the top 5, going to be Aaron Gerwitz, starting 14th, now finishing 5th here tonight.
Yeah, great showing for him on the point stage, as it's 3 playoff drivers in the top 5. Joshua Siegfried Hey, we kind of made up, I guess, for that broadcast curse. It didn't hang on too long as he rebounds and finishes 6th. Rhett Tucker kind of got the rough end of that contact there in the race for the win. Coming out of turn 4, he falls from 3rd all the way back to 7th, but still looks to be in good place in the playoff points. Dustin Scruggs, a good showing for much of the night. He'll finish in 8th. Brad Williams in 9th. Dylan Patterson will be our 10th place finisher.
Definitely. And then let's go ahead and bring up our 3rd place finisher. That's going to be Daniel Bowdler. That 6th car going to come home P3. Daniel Bowdler again here, buddy. We're talking to you. I know you probably wanted the win, but you come home P3. You know, had a great points day with a lot of other playoff drivers kind of having a bad night here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway. You know, how does that, does it boost your confidence moving into, Michigan next week?
Yeah, it definitely does. For tonight, mission accomplished. Got a top 5. Led a lap, so I should get a bonus point for that moving forward here, and should have a pretty good buffer, I would hope, going to Michigan. Hopefully be able to play that race pretty safe and move on to the championship round. But good win to go in there. He was super fast at the end. I just I needed that to be a green-white checkered, not a green-white checkered. So.
Yeah, we were kind of wondering there. I know you brought up Nick Owen kind of saving that car after that contact there in 1 and 2. That just a racing incident. But when you saw him back there and move up to 2nd place, was that in the back of the mind like this might be something I might see again, or did you think maybe just being a playoff driver might be able to avoid that?
I figured I was going to get a little bit of a bumper there, especially after what I did to him. That's completely to be expected, but. Man, he did it really, really clean. He just got me out of shape, moved him out of his way, and, went on and won the race. So hats off to him. He ran a great race and definitely deserved this win.
Well, it looks like point-wise, and this is just me kind of doing numbers off the top of my head, but you should be either 1st or 2nd, it looks like, going into that final race, and obviously the points are still going to be tight, but with Michigan coming up, just that one race left, sitting in a good spot, much different than kind of being the outside looking in, going into the last race last round. How different does that feel going into Michigan with a pretty solid spot right now?
Oh, it's definitely a lot more comfortable. Like I said, hopefully we can go into Michigan and just, be really conservative and just try to have a good race and, bring the car home in one piece and move on to Texas. So I really like Texas and, look forward to my chances there if we can make it to that next round.
Definitely, Daniel. Well, we'll get you back down to your team, man. Enjoy P3 and, heading into next week, I guarantee you'll probably be one of those final 5 unless something crazy happens to you. But great run tonight here at Charlotte Motor Speedway. Enjoy that P3 and we'll see you out here next week.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Alrighty, Brandon. Well, that's our 3rd place finisher. Let's go ahead and grab that 2nd place finisher from tonight. That's going to be that 3 car from Roel Smith Racing. It's going to be Jovi Sagiped. Jovi Sagiped. This is Jake Roel and Brandon Domain up here in the Speed Racing Network booth, buddy. How you feeling after coming home P2?
Very hard fought for P2.
Well, yeah, we were seeing you. You're one of the brave ones out there running that high line, that Larson line up by the wall for a lot of the race. How did you kind of figure that was going to be the fast line, and did you feel comfortable? Was it something that was a little awkward at first, but because you don't see many people running up there?
Oh, I found it in practice that first 10 laps was the sweet spot that you can make moves and set up people coming out of 2 going into 3, and plus I just love ripping the wall. Like, it's just too fun.
Well, it's funny to hear you say that, Joe, because in practice you don't do that. So I wonder if you just kind of maybe learned something with the amount of practice you had all week long. It obviously paid off here tonight for you, but how do you feel going into Michigan? I know I've raced with you there, but how do you feel comfortable or comfortability wise for yourself going into MIS next week?
I don't feel too confident because I haven't ran a single lap with these B cars there, but somehow I make it work. And plus, it's Michigan. You know how we do. 3 wide all the time, all the day.
All right.
Very different than Charlotte, right?
Oh, yeah, 100% different.
All right, buddy. Well, before we get you back down to the team, man, give this time, to thank anyone you'd like to thank.
Thank you to RSR. Thank you to you. Thank you to the boys, Dustin, Josh, Troy, Ryan. I know we didn't have a good race, but we showed the speed. And shout out to SRN for always throwing this, and our sponsor off Apex Designs.
All right, buddy. We'll get you back down to RSR. Enjoy it. And I know they'll be hyped up about one of our guys getting home in P2. So enjoy it, man. Soak it up, and we'll see you out here next week at Michigan.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
And what a start to the playoffs for Jovi. 5 races in, his worst finish is still 4th place after tonight's 3rd. If you're looking for title favorites, he might be the guy going to Texas.
All right, we're going to get our winner of the race. It's going to be the winner of the Queen City 150. That's going to be that 88 machine, Nicholas Goen. It's Jake Rowell and Brandon Domain up here in the Speed Racing Network booth. Man, back to back. Last week expected it. This week, man, where did you find the speed here tonight at Charlotte Motor Speedway?
Man, it was just hooking that blue line. I mean, there was just a lot of extra grip down there, especially on the long run too. I mean, you're not going as fast. I mean, those tires, if you run off even just a slightly above off that paint on the bottom line, I mean, your tires are going to wear a little quicker. The higher you go up to the track, I mean, the hotter they're going to get. But just taking care of my tires. I mean, I know there at the end, I mean, I had fresher tires than Bowdler, the 6 car. And I also want to apologize to my teammate, Rhett Tucker. I did not know that he was going to be up there. Although I think looking at the replay, there was a couple other factors at play. But yeah, man, it's just I did a lot of practice this week because I don't want to be labeled just the road course guy. So getting my first oval win feels really, really good.
I tell you what, I definitely don't think of you as just a road course guy. Even before this one, you've had some good showings there. Just always seem to have some kind of trouble late in some of those impressive runs. But after last week, was that just like a pressure off kind of thing? Like, all right, the win finally came. Is it just extra confidence, or was it just like, hey, just business as usual, and you came out here and finished the job again?
Definitely some pressure lifted off. That's for sure. Because just the first half of the season just didn't really go all that well. I mean, as you guys have seen, just either me causing my own penalties or getting involved in accidents, and but just something kind of clicked the last few weeks. I mean, definitely a confidence boost after last week, and I'm glad to very happy to keep it going this week. It kind of makes you wonder about like what if what could have been for the regular season.
Definitely, yeah. I know you've said you missed a few weeks due to work and things like that. So really, the league should have been on notice. Had you have made the playoffs, man, you would be definitely up there in the top 5 right now, looking to make your way to Texas Motor Speedway. But before we let you go, Nick, we'll give you this time to shout anyone out you got to thank.
Definitely want to thank my teammates. Jake, also for you for a couple pointers earlier this week. But thank you guys for broadcasting each and every single week. I want to thank Sandwich Man Racing Sports Memorabilia and my teammates on Brocco Motorsports. I really appreciate all the support.
Alrighty, buddy. Well, soak it up. You go back to back, and it wasn't even a second road course. We weren't running the Roval, but awesome to see you get it done here at Charlotte Motor Speedway, Nick. So enjoy it, man. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. As we head to Michigan International Speedway.
All right, thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Well, what a past 8 nights there for Nick Goen. Gets that first SRN win. Week later comes out and gets the win here at the very end, but was definitely one of the stronger cars all night. So a deserving win there for the 88 back-to-back weeks.
Definitely. He kind of got moved out of the way by, Daniel Bowdler, able to recover, save the car, come down pit lane under one of those yells, get his car fixed, able to kind of repay Daniel Bowdler for that, kind of using Bowdler's own tactics. So awesome race here tonight at Charlotte. But I tell you what, another great race is going to be next week for the Great Lakes 150 at Michigan International Speedway for the Xfinity Series. It's going to be that cutoff race, Brandon. So you know what that means for this second round of the playoffs. You can catch that Thursday, June 3rd at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
And then on the Cup side, you're used to us running Sundays. Well, guess what? We're going to change it up a little bit, do a little Memorial Day special. Monday night, May 31st, we're going to be starting 8:30 p.m. Central Time, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. It is week 2 of the round of 10, the Queen City 200, as we bust out the Memorial Day paint schemes once more, this time with the Cup guys. And Jake, that schedule change, how you feel about that?
Yeah, looking forward to it. Although I am from Michigan, with the Michigan State stuff on my car and things like that, able to now go to the Coke 600 Sunday night. Hopefully it doesn't rain out, and then that's run Monday, and then we race Monday night. That'd be one long day of racing. But I'm looking forward to this. This is it's going to be an awesome race, a little different with no faster pairs. We kind of saw both the truck race, obviously what you ran last night, and what we both just broadcasted here tonight. Quite a few more wrecks than I would have thought. So that's something to put into the notepad to think about, as we move towards Monday night for the Cup race. So, but hey, it's going to come down to it with, a little bit fewer cars than what we saw tonight in the Cup Series. It just makes every position that much more important. So make sure you come check us out. Like Brandon has already said, Monday, May 31st, 8:30 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Thank you so much, all the fans, for tuning in tonight for the Queen City 150 here at Charlotte. I'm Jake Rowell here with my broadcast partner, Brandon Domain. And always remember, from Speed Racing Network to you, go faster.